If I'm sitting up here telling you that it's several different celebrities and things of that nature that share one avatar, what makes you think that it's not anything different when it comes to these spiritual leaders and these religious leaders? And that's how I'm going to get into this. I want to talk a lot about the 144,000 and things of that nature. However, I want to kind of take you into the very beginning of like what really inspires me to like be on this shit like heavy. Like what really inspires me to be on this heavy. And what inspires me to be on this heavy is that I was in religion in these religious organizations as a teenager. And I gang banged and did things like that as a very young teenager. And in my studies and things of that nature, what I've realized is that because it was like a choice, and it's like, was it the religions that's really carrying the avatar for the 144,000, or is it not the avatar but carrying the baton for the 144,000, or is it more on a street level, like the 5% level? Because you had Elijah Muhammad, but then you had Clarence 13X. You see what I'm saying? You had Malachi Z. York on one level, but then you got to realize there was more than one Malachi Z. York. Yeah, one of them got arrested for molesting children, but you got to remember Malachi Z. York was a shapeshifter and reptilian, and it was several different. He had several different forms, or what one of my significant others would call skin suits. I think that's what she's actually talking about. And like what a skin suit is like a reptilian that's able to change form and change their appearance totally in their skin, and a lot of times even their height. They got shapeshifters like that. So what I'm pointing out is that if you study the prophecy of like when it's talking about 144 and it's talking about the religions and the different churches and then it's the different tribes, that's how it's broken down. So what I'm getting into is that why I decided to be on more on a street level and gang banging levels, because that's what really woke me up. It was first really gang banging and then hip hop. That's how it happened for me. And I was in a place to where, in my scenario, where guys had to come down and formally initiate me into like gang banging and their form of gang banging in my city, because it wasn't even nobody down here doing that like that in a small city where I was at. I mean, I'm not at that city right now, but where I was at, what I'm saying, the little small town I was in, like it wasn't nobody even on that type of stuff. Crips, Bloods, none of that type of gang banging stuff, period. So like they had to like introduce it to us. And then from there, a lot of us ended up moving into like religion. So that's why I'm so boldly, and I say boldly, that's why I'm so boldly able to like decode these religions and go into these religions, because man, I ran the streets with like a whole lot of these guys. That's religious leaders even, because they're shapeshifters. That's what you got to remember. They'll come on the streets and run the streets with you, and the next thing you know, they in the church in the pulpit. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. I've seen it plenty of times. That's how I've met so many people, because it ain't nothing but shapeshifters running these streets. So before you can even start talking about, they're like, so what gives you the credibility to be a sovereign? And that's what I'm saying. You need some type of stripes. Whether you gonna run with the religious leaders or the doctors of this day or the street guys of this day, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have some type of like lettering. And it doesn't have to be from no university. Don't let them fool you. That's what I'm trying to get you to see when making these videos. Yeah, they gonna punish you like they do me. Oh yeah, they gonna punish you because you ain't come from no university doing it. So of course they gonna, and you ain't got the certain letters doing it. But then once you start speaking their language and they realize that you know it, and they realize that you've seen just as much in your journeys as they've seen, then they may more so open up to you. So like information I was rolling with, you got sets out there that like initiate you and they don't even talk to you ever, and they'll never talk to you. And you'll be straight in the set and they'll never talk to you, and you can't even get out. It's a part of the contract. That's how I know that these like churches, the same thing, these churches and these, you know what I'm saying, these sets and these gangs and all of that go back to the same stuff, and these occult orders is what it goes back to. And that's how I learned and was able to, because there's no such thing as free. There's what's called transcending. So you're either gonna transcend this or you're not. There's no free in this. And that's what people get mistaken. There's no free in this world. Whoever told you that is a lie. There's nothing free in this world. They try to say that the Atlanteans gave out free energy because they had such a sophisticated system and it looked like they did, but wasn't nobody getting up for free in this world. That was all based on exchanging energy and what your parents and your, you know what I'm saying, the people that worked in that time in your household was exchanging for that type of energy. What you was receiving and what was so called free was really still based on an exchange. It's never been in this world. It's always been an adversary. This is where the God and devil come from. It's always been a competition. So before you can get into mastering money, this is what I'm gonna point out and I'll shut down. This is why they had such sophisticated training. You notice in the Asian schools, a lot of the metaphysical circles, they won't even start teaching you nothing about metaphysics. They'll start teaching you martial arts first. And even in martial arts, they're not going to teach you how to kill nobody. They're just like, okay, first lesson, they'll just leave you outside 20 degrees for, a couple hours. You're like, well, I thought we was going to be beating people's ass. I'm just standing here. It's not martial arts. Freezing. It is martial arts, a certain level to it, because they're trying to get you to learn the levels and the mastering the elements, and the things of that nature, and getting used to the elements before you can even start talking about whooping somebody's ass and shit. See what I'm saying? So like that's the type of school that I ran where it came from. You know what I'm saying? They don't really like that because like it's different types of schools out there. Because the 144,000, see, what you got to remember is they came from different churches. That's what I was pointing out. I want to kind of point this out publicly because it was like recorded on the scores yesterday. So that's why I got to point this out publicly. Like I was teaching so hard, they recorded some of this on the sports scores yesterday when I was teaching my significant other about this. They recorded some of this stuff on the sports scores. You know what I'm saying? So I got to go ahead and teach about this. So they came from different schools. So like it was like Buddhists and like Hindus and like yogis and like Egyptologists and like Christians running together. And these are the 7 different churches. And this is what the 144,000 is supposed to represent. Groups of people running together though, doing work, but then still having 8 orders and 8 tribes up under them. You know what I'm saying? And people graduating within these different tiers. And then that'll take you into what's called mastering the black dot. We'll talk about that at another time. So thank you for listening and watching. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down. You guys have a good morning. Peace. Hotep. Namaste.